Thank you for joining me here today on our YouTube channel. My name is Jeanette and I'm from Case Flower School. And today's tutorial I want to show you how to make a bow for a wedding to tie on the end of your pews. So what would be known as a pew end. These work out very reasonable to make and can be a cheap decoration for your aisle. So especially if you want to do it for yourself or you're doing it for a friend. So first of all, you need a roll of this paper ribbon. It's Florist ribbon and it's waterproof and it works out quite inexpensive. There's normally 100 metres on one of these rolls and you can get approximately 15 to 16 bows, like I'm going to show you today, out of this one roll of ribbon. To start off the bow, you need 4 arm stretches of ribbon, and the easiest way to measure this is place the roll of ribbon on one shoulder, stretch out the opposite arm, so that's what I class as an arm stretch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're planning on making a lot of these, I'd probably advise you to measure out all the ribbon like now. So go straight back to the roll of ribbon and measure out 4 arm stretches again and again until you have approximately 15 of them if you're planning on using the whole roll of ribbon. So that's our ribbon that we need for the bow. The next thing I need is I need the ribbon to tie it onto the seat and also to give me the tails coming out of it. So you can choose to have these tails as long as you prefer. So I'm going to go for about 2 arm stretches. So that's going to be the length of the ribbon that's going to come out the back of my bow. To give you an idea, if I was to hold it in the centre there approximately, so when I tie it onto the seat, that's going to be the length of the ribbon coming down from the pew. Now again, you can measure this. You could go down to your local church and maybe you would need this to be up higher, like taller, so you need the ribbon longer, or maybe you're going to tie it lower down on the seat and you might need that ribbon shorter. What I normally do is I prefer to have it extra long, and when I tie them onto the seats, I always bring my scissors with me. So then when they're all tied on the seats, I go along and it's basically like I give them all a hair trim and I get them all the same length. The next part of making the bow is using the 4 arm stretches, so the longest piece of ribbon. And what you have to do is you have to make a circle. Now I will come in close in a second so you can see this in more detail. But what I'll be doing is I'll be wrapping the ribbon around my 2 hands to get this circle of ribbon. There's a little technique in doing this and I'll come in close in a second. And the size of this circle, I would say it's approximately 8 inches. But just for anybody that's watching from different countries, if you think the width of an A4 page approximately, that's the size that you need. So hopefully you can see this closer. So what I'm doing is the beginning of the ribbon, I'm just tucking it in here. I'm approximately trying to get the 8 inches or the width of the A4 page as I described. This might take a little practice for yourself. Use your 2 hands inside the ribbon and keep a slight little tension between the 2 hands. And what you're then going to do is wind them around and around and around and around. I'll just turn this way so that you can see it, and then I'm just going to turn around again. So you keep winding and winding and winding till all the ribbon is used up. At this stage, people to say, how many times did you wrap it around your hands? And I just say, there's no number. You just keep going until all the ribbon is used up. So now I have the circle of ribbon completed using the 4 arm stretches, and as I said, approximately the width of the A4 page. Now what you're now going to do is find the middle of that circle. So squeeze it together, but only squeeze it in the centre. Avoid squeezing on both sides. I'm now going to fold the ribbon in half, but I'm going to come in close so you can see it in more detail. Squeezing it in the centre, what you're going to do then is just fold it over in half. Keep both sides approximately the same size as you can, and squeeze that really tight until you're making a nice crease in the ribbon. When you do this the very first time, people are inclined to crease them ends. They're going to be the loops of the bow, so try to avoid creasing them, because once you crease this ribbon, the crease doesn't come back out of it. On the folded side of the ribbon, using a very sharp scissors, what you're going to do is cut a sharp triangle. So approximately that size there, I'm going to cut this sharp triangle. I now need to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. So the easiest way to do this is just turn your ribbon upside down. So that way you'll still have the scissors in your stronger hand. And you're then going to cut approximately the same amount off the opposite side, but this time I'm leaving a little piece in the centre. I'll just show you when I cut this off. So when you cut it off, you cut off these 2 triangles, but as you can see, I've left this short little piece, approximately a ½ centimetre in the centre. I'm now going to open it into a shape which I would call or class as a dicky bow shape. And when you're holding the bow, you try and hold it at that dicky bow shape. For anyone that's not too sure what I mean by the dicky bow, that's what I mean. You know, like what sometimes a man would wear with a suit. So you're holding it in the centre at the dicky bow, and then you get your long piece of ribbon. And as I said, this length of ribbon can be any length. You can have that much shorter or much longer. So I'm now going to just approximately hold it in the centre. I'm not measuring them because normally, as I said, when I go to the church, I go along with the scissors and then I trim them that they're just tipping the floor and everything is exact. So this is approximately the centre. And what I'm going to do with this long piece of ribbon is I'm going to lie it at the back of the dicky bow. Now at this stage you might say which is the front and which is the back. There's absolutely no difference. So if you want to call that the back of the dicky bow or you want to call that the back of the dicky bow, you will both be right. So I'm just going to lie it in here and that's what it's going to look at sideways. So again, I'm in close here, so you can see where I'm pinching it in the centre. And don't worry if it's a little bit uneven, that you have one side a little bit longer than the other, it won't make any difference at this stage. So using your nails on your opposite hand, your free hand, just insert your nails into that ribbon. This ribbon tears really easy. And then just pull it off. Now sometimes because it's a longer piece of ribbon, it's hard to get stretched all the way to the end. So I often just use my knee so that I got all the way to the end. Oh, just missed a bit there. Here we go again. And then I have this thin piece of ribbon. With this thin piece of ribbon, I'm going to lie that. So again, coming in close, I have my thin piece of ribbon tore off, and what I'm going to do is rest it across it. So your long piece is going lengthways with the dicky bow, and your thinner piece is going across it. And the difficult part of the bow now is you have to tie a double knot. So the easiest way to tie the double knot is fold the bow back over in half again, pulling down 2 thin strings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest it against my tummy, and then I'm going to try and tie the 2 thin pieces together. This can be a little bit difficult and everybody will get their own little trick or their own little method for doing this. So this is what I mean by holding against my tummy. If you have a spare tire, it makes life a little bit easier for you. You get your 2 thin pieces of ribbon and you tie that knot. So pull the knot really, really tight, like get your 2 hands and pull it and squeeze as tight as you possibly can till it nearly gathers or creases in the centre. And then tie the double knot, so a second knot on top of it, and again pull it really, really tight. And what you then do is you store the bow like that till your occasion. So when the occasion comes and you want to tie your bows onto your seats in the church or maybe onto your bouquets of flowers, you take your bow from your box where you have stored it. You place both hands inside the bow, leave your thumbs outside. So you're basically holding with both hands. One of your hands, and you can choose, do you want to use your right hand or your left hand? Even though I'm a right-handed person, I use my left hand for doing this. I find it's easier for me. So with my left hand, I'm pulling the inside loop. So it's the loop that's on the inside, and I'll come in close in a little minute just to show you this. Now it just happens that my first loop is one of the raw ends of the ribbon, because obviously you're going to have 2 of these. You'll have the beginning and you'll have the end. So I'm just going to treat this like a loop. So as you pull it out, you pull it towards your body. You pull the next one out, and as you pull it out, you pull it away from your body. And because both hands are still inside the loops of the ribbon, do you see the way you get that little tension between them? So you then pull the inside loop and you twist it towards your chest. You get the next inside loop and you go the opposite direction. The mistake is when you pull out the loop and you go sideways, as in east and west. That's wrong. So you must get into the habit of twisting it back, twisting it forward, twisting it back, twisting it forward. And I'm going to come in close while I do the opposite side so you can see it in more detail. So when I'm doing the opposite side, same idea. I'm using my same hand, my left hand. I'm pulling the inside loop on the left, twist it to me. Inside loop on the left, twist it to you. Inside loop on the left, twist it to me. And normally in a flower shop they're inclined to say, to you, to me, to you, to me, until they're all pulled out. And again, that's the little straight piece you see at the opposite side. As I said, you'll have 2 straight pieces. One will be the beginning of the bow and one will be the end of the bow. If you want to fancy that piece off, just to make it a little bit neater, what you can do is just fold it over in half using your sharp scissors, and you can cut on a sharp triangle and you get this nice little V shape. Now again, if you don't want to do that, you can just cut it on a slant. It's absolutely fine. So the plan would be that your 2 thin strings, they're to tie onto your pew end. And always leave them extra long, because depending on the seats, whether it be in the church or the hotel, sometimes you just have a small area to tie it on, but sometimes, especially with an old-fashioned church, you'd have a large piece of wood to try and wrap the ribbon around. So leave them plenty long, and again, bring your scissors with you and you can always trim them. The 2 long ones, again, I have them extra long, so that when I tie them on, I can go along with my scissors afterwards and I can trim them to the length. Again, to be neater, what I often do is I fold them over in half, and using the scissors I cut that sharp V, so now both ends of the ribbon, to see how that little design at the bottom, which does look really nice. People often ask me, how many bows would you tie, up an aisle? I would recommend to tie them on every second seat, so whether this be a hotel or a church, and you have, we just say, 20 seats or 20 rows of seats. If you start at the top and then skip the next one, and then tie it on the next, on row 3, and then skip row 4 and tie it on row 5. And I would say a minimum of 6 rows on either side. So the minimum, and like literally doing the least amount, you need at least 12 bows. So that will give you 6 bows on the right, 6 bows on the left, and you've come back approximately 12 seats. People ask me about tying tying flowers into our bows, and we do cover that as part of our module 3 on our bridal floristry course. So I hope you enjoyed that YouTube tutorial. If you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure that you click the subscribe button. Definitely give me the thumbs up. And also try and find us on Instagram and also on Facebook, as we're always posting live videos and live tutorials. And thank you for joining me.